Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about World of Warcraft, which is one of the games that I'm actively playing right now. In case you guys are wondering what the other games are, they're essentially Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, because basically between tending to the needs of my family and doing content creation and all of that stuff, I really haven't had time to dedicate to any other game in the past couple of weeks, and as a consequence of that, I've been growing quite a bit of a backlog. As a matter of fact, I'm considering doing a video talking about that specific backlog, because there's a lot of titles in there, and I kind of feel like talking about it. But anyways, in today's video, we're going to be talking about World of Warcraft, because as you guys know, one of the things that I've been working towards pretty much since I got to level 120 was to max out my reputation with the 7th Legion in order to unlock the Dark Iron Dwarves, because I've been pretty excited about the Dark Iron Dwarves heritage armor, because it looks very much like an Ironbreaker armor. And today I'd like to tell you guys about a decision that I've made over the past couple of days, and that is that I am not going to have the Dark Iron Dwarf Heritage Armor. And some of you guys are going to say, oh, Rurikhan got bored of leveling and all that stuff, and that's not really it. I mean, as a matter of fact, I've been leveling up a Paladin, which, as you guys know, I planned on re-rolling into Paladin as my main, but it's not that I got tired of leveling, it's just that I realized that no matter how nerfed the warrior is, there's something about the warrior class. You know, the warrior class is the one that I identify with the most. The paladin is extremely powerful. It's much more powerful than the warrior, hands down. And you guys might be thinking, oh, Rurikhan, you're just full of shit. Everybody thinks that their class is the weakest class. And I kind of knew that that was probably going to be an argument that I would have to tackle in the comment section of this video, which is why I was doing a little bit of research today. I was like, you know what? Let's see the tiered lists of tanks, which, to be completely honest, it's not really something that I've ever looked into when I played World of Warcraft. And the reasoning behind that is because throughout all of the years in which I've tanked as a warrior, I've also at some point tanked with other classes. And I could see that, sure, this class is better at doing this, and this class is better at doing that, and they could be, like, overall better than the warrior. But at the same time, I never felt like, oh man, they're so much better, though, that, like, playing a warrior feels like I'm gimping myself. I never really felt like that until this particular expansion. When it comes to tanking with the warrior, I do feel like I'm gimping myself. And, you know, I didn't want to just come up on this video and say, oh, warriors are like the weakest tank or anything like that. So I went to do a little bit of digging, and I was looking for a tanking tiered list, and I came upon the videos of the Guild Master of Method. Now, Method, for those of you that do not know, is one of the top tier raiding guilds. I believe they just got world first on Mythic Gahoon, which is the final boss of the current tier of raiding. So therefore, they're a very good guild, and therefore you should take the opinion of their guild master, not as fact, but as a very good opinion. And so I was looking up the tiered lists that he came up with for his videos, and he did two of them. He did one for Mythic Plus Dungeons, which is basically like your 5-man instances, for those of you that do not play World of Warcraft, and another one for Progression Raiding, which is basically when you actually go out into raids of 25 people or 10 people or however many it is on Mythic, I don't even know. And he basically rated all of the tanks, and there was one tank that was consistently in the bottom tier. So when it came to Mythic Plus, he rated them by tiers. He gave 3 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Warrior is in the last tier of that particular video, so meaning that Warrior is one of the worst tanks for Mythic Plus. And he basically said, in terms of self-sustain, the Warrior gets a 0. Now, for maybe some of you guys don't understand what self-sustain is, but that is basically your ability of staying alive in case your healer is mind-controlled or stunned or something like that, where the warrior scores the least of any tanking in the game right now. Then when it came to rating, warrior, it was not the worst. The worst, as it turns out, for progression rating, according to the Guild Master of Method. And by the way, there's been patches, so some of this stuff might have changed. But the worst tank was Demon Hunter. But interestingly enough, even though the Demon Hunter was rated number 6 for progression rating, Demon Hunter was considerably high. I don't know if he was number 2 or maybe even number 1. I think it was number 2. for Mythic Plus. So, you know, there's a little bit of a balance there. Sure, you're not the best tank in raids, but you are one of the best tanks when it came to Mythic Plus. Whereas the Warrior was number 5 in raiding, and he was tier 3 in Mythic Plus. So it's not just me that thinks that the Warriors are not in a good spot. And if I had to describe it in language that a lot of you guys will understand if you happen to be like Monster Hunter World players, because a lot of people that are in my channel right now play Monster Hunter World, if I was to do a bit of an analogy that you guys can understand, playing Warrior as a tank is essentially like playing dual blades with the least amount of stamina possible. As you guys can imagine, that's not going to be a very fun thing because naturally with dual blades you need stamina to go into demon mode in order to actually dish out damage. So basically that's the same case with the Warrior. It's like he's really good at tanking when you have the mitigation up. The problem is that you can't always have the mitigation up. It's impossible. Like, you can try to weave in certain things, or maybe you can get like I don't even know. I haven't picked up any defensive trinkets. All the trinkets just give either strength or haste for me so far. So I don't even have like a defensive trinket that I can kind of weave in between the lack of mitigation. But basically what that means is if you are not running your active mitigation on the Warrior, your Warrior is going to take spiky damage, which is something that is difficult to predict for the healers, and that's the most important thing for a tank, is to be able for your health to drop at a predictable rate so that the healers can basically keep up with the rate at which they have to heal you whilst optimizing their own mana. Anyways, I didn't want it to get too technical into this video, but here we are. But what I wanted to tell you guys is that at the end of the day, I knew that I could be a better tank as a Paladin, but at the same time, the Paladin is just so easier to play. And by easier, I mean almost to the point of boring. You know, because like you're playing as a Paladin, you have a lot less abilities than the Warrior, to the point where my brain at one point almost short-circuited because I was like, dude, I'm doing something wrong. There's no way that, because I think at level 80 or something, you get almost all of the abilities that you have available for playing as a tanking Paladin. And I was looking at it, and I was like, dude, there's no way. Because I mean, I got to be doing something wrong. There's got to be more buttons that I need to press. But no, there aren't. And some people might think, okay, Rurikhan, so you're upset that Warriors are too complicated. No. My problem, like, I like the complexity of Warriors. It's one of the things that I like. I like the fact that you can do a lot of interesting things as a Warrior, but it makes the class a little bit more complex from a tanking standpoint, right? My biggest problem is that even though it's simpler, they are effectively still better tanks for both Mythic Plus and raiding. You know, so it's an easier class to play and it's a better class to play. And the rotation even feels more solid. Because like with Warriors, I always feel like I'm juggling so many things that, and the way that rage works, sometimes I'm just like, crap, I'm out of rage. And I need rage in order to pop Ignore Pain because I just took a big hit or something. And back in the day, that would have been balanced because Warriors would receive rage by taking damage, which meant like, oh, you took a big chunk of damage, that means you have rage in order to deal with it. But now they've nerfed it, and so basically you have to, you know, hit enemies with your auto attacks in order to get rage. And, you know, I don't want to make a video just kind of like bitching about it, because ultimately, here's the conclusion that I arrived at. I'm always going to play Warrior. It doesn't matter what happens. And the other thing that I arrived at was like, I was thinking, okay, so am I going to race change for a Dark Iron Dwarf? And I'm not. I mean, I've had this Warrior for so many years that it almost would feel like a betrayal to race change him. I've been weighing that in my head because, like, I do like Dark Iron Dwarfs quite a bit, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm not a Dark Iron Dwarf. I'm a Dwarf. And so long as I play World of Warcraft in my main account, I'm always going to be a Dwarf because that's just the way it is, and I'm always going to be a Warrior. And then there's also the fact that I don't feel like going through Battle for Azeroth all over again with a different class. I'm just at a point in my life where I'm not as invested in World of Warcraft as I was in the past, where I was leveling up all of these different alts and all that stuff. There's other games that I want to play, you know, but at the same time, I do want to keep up with my main character in World of Warcraft, so I'll still be doing, you know, the weekly stuff and keeping up with raiding and all of these things, but everything that I do is going to be as a Warrior. And also I have a newfound passion for Fury. I started playing Fury again. Fury's a lot of fun. I went to get another 340 sword, and now that I actually have decent gear and I have a decent amount of haste, Fury actually feels really, really solid, even more so than Arms, which is, it's weird. It almost seems like until you get a certain amount of haste, Arms feels like a better choice for Warrior, and then once you get past a certain threshold of haste, your Warrior starts attacking so fast that Fury starts feeling a little bit better. And I guess I'm at that threshold right now where Fury just feels so good. And I think Fury might actually be really good DPS. Like, I don't know, I don't have that much experience with DPS since I've mostly always played tank. But Fury feels really solid. Fury feels like probably the most solid spec that I've played so far in this expansion. At the point that I'm at right now, with the gear that I have right now, that should be important to mention. Luckily enough, a lot of the gear that you have with protection also works really well for Fury, so I don't have to worry too much about that. However, come on, Blizzard, you gotta give us, you know, different traits for different specs. Like, how could what you make swapping specs like the easiest thing in the world, and then you basically latch us down with these friggin' Azeroth traits? Come on. Fix that. You gotta fix that. And also, buff Warrior tanking, please. I mean, at least make us feel right, you know? Make Warrior tanking feel better than it feels right now, where you almost feel like you're holding your whole group back if you're bringing in a Warrior to tank, whether that is Mythic Plus or just raiding, you know? But anyways, these are just my ramblings. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update with the World of Warcraft situation. So whatever content that I end up doing, what you guys will see in my videos will be the Warrior, whether that is on Fury, Arms, Protection, because quite simply I don't feel like playing other classes. It's just like, I just want to have my one class, play my one class, and to hell with the alts, you know? Hopefully you guys that are playing World of Warcraft out there are enjoying it. What do you guys think about the Warfronts? I'm actually really curious. Like, leave it in the comment section below. What do you think about Warfronts? I finally got to do my first Warfronts this week. And yeah, like, for all the stuff that I had seen online, Warfronts were actually not that great. At least in my opinion, they're not that much fun. And it's almost like I figured, you know, it's going to be this thing that you're only going to be able to do like once a month. It's probably going to be fucking amazing, right? Turns out, at least in my opinion, it's just not that great. As a matter of fact, I think that a lot of people just go to Warfronts and then AFK and wait until the damn thing is done, because there's no defeat scenario. There's, at least as far as I can tell, there's no possibility of defeat in the Warfront. Like, you can almost have half of the people in the Warfront not do anything, and the only thing that will happen is it will take a little bit longer, but it will still get done. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that stuff, but leave it in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about it, and let me know what you guys thought about this video as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys do enjoy my videos, remember, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so that you're always notified when I'm live streaming or when I put up a new video. If you do enjoy it, hit the like button, and yeah, see you guys on the next one.